Booking Naija, and you're welcome back to our channel. My name is Boma and I'm the founder of this company. It's Nigeria's leading holiday company and we have several holiday packages. If you live in Nigeria, you're planning a trip to Lagos, or you're coming into Nigeria and you're planning a vacation in Lagos, you should definitely contact us. We have the best serviced apartments, or Airbnb as some people call it. We have the best beach houses, beach resorts in Lagos. We have car rentals, we have boats, we have jet skis, we have jet cars. So if you're planning a trip to Nigeria and you want to have the best experience, then you should contact Booking Naija. We know all of the hidden gems. We know where all the magic happens in Lagos, and we have the best listings under our belt. So we're your #1 plug and you should definitely contact us. Don't forget to like this video, share, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more real estate, Shortlet, or even travel information. Without wasting too much of your time, we're going to go into the business of the day. Today, we're talking about how to set up your serviced apartment in Nigeria. Some people think setting up a serviced apartment is easy work. I mean, it can be easy, but it can also be very difficult and very tasking. So you need to know and have all of the right information before going into the market. In Lagos now, the Airbnb market is amazing. Lots of Shortlet apartments, lots of people coming to see what Lagos is about. So if you're thinking of setting up a short-term rental in Lagos, you're actually thinking in the right direction. But to avoid making mistakes or losing a lot of money, because it's a very capital-intensive project, you need to have all of the right information before diving in. So let's get straight to the point. Here is how to set up your Airbnb or your Shortlet apartment in Nigeria. So this video says in Nigeria, but I'm going to be using Lagos because I live in Lagos and our business is in Lagos. So I've written everything here because I don't want to miss any important details, and I also don't want to forget some things. So I wrote everything here. So I'm going to be looking at my book from time to time, okay? #1 is have a budget. There are so many things that determine how big or how small your budget is going to be for your apartment. For example, are you choosing to buy a property or are you choosing to rent a property? These are two different options that will greatly affect your budget. So you need to know whether you're buying or renting your property. You need to know how much you're going to spend on furniture. You need to know how much you're going to spend on electronics. You need to know, I mean, are you having smart lock installation or are you using the regular old-fashioned keys for your apartment? You need to know how much it will cost to install Wi-Fi. There are so many details that you need to have to be included in your budget. Don't go into this project without having a budget, because you might get stuck halfway and realize you don't have enough money to complete your project. So going into this without having your budget is going to be a really, really big problem, because you need to do your numbers. You need to know how much you're going to spend to set up. You need to do the numbers against how much you're going to get from profit and from clients booking your apartment. And you need to know if it makes sense before going into this kind of investment. Like I said before, it's very, very capital intensive. You need to know what you're getting into before you actually get into it, if that makes any sense. So before I set up my own apartment, I knew I had a budget for rent. I had a budget for electronics. I had a budget for furniture. I went to the stores, checked how much things cost, the TV, the fridge, how much the washing machine was. So I knew what I was getting into before getting into it. The crazy thing is, even though I had a budget, there were still lots of costs that I did not see coming. There were still some unplanned costs. There were some mistakes that arose along the way, and we had to correct them. That cost us more money. There are some things that might go wrong in the apartment that you rented that you have to work on, that you have to fix, and this might not even be part of your budget. So imagine going into this without having a budget at all. That's going to be such a terrible idea. So #1, have a budget. Now, after you have your budget, you need to pick the right location. Lagos is very, very big. We have the mainland, we have the island. You need to decide, are you setting up your property on the mainland or do you want to do it on the island? And if you pick any of these, what exact location are you going to be setting up your apartment? We already made a video about the best locations to set up your Airbnb in Lagos. If you want to watch that video, all you have to do is click here. And when deciding on a location, you need to consider proximity to tourist attractions. You know, it has to be close to restaurants, it needs to be close to nightclubs, it needs to be close to where all the magic is happening in Lagos. So if people are coming into town to enjoy themselves, they want to be close to the beach, they want to be close to here, they want to be close to there, you need to make sure that the location you pick is the right one for your clients. So that's number 2, pick the right location. Number 3, find the right apartment. So when looking for, Lagos is a crazy place, and we all know that Nigerian agents can sometimes be very, very tricky and cunning. When you're picking an apartment, you have to consider several factors. For example, some areas in Lagos have very heavy traffic. So if you're trying to get to work in the morning or you're coming back in the evening, you're going to be stuck in a lot of traffic, especially during rush hours. You don't want that kind of location for your Airbnb. You need to pick the right location. You need to check out the property features and amenities. You need to check out how accessible the apartment is. How easy is it to find? Is it on the map? Is the street properly labeled? Is it going to be very easy for clients to locate your apartment? Those are the things you need to consider. There are some places in Lagos also where the buildings do not have clean water, especially on the island. If you've ever been to Lekki Phase 1, Ikate, Osakpa, London, these areas, then you probably know what I'm talking about. Finding clean water in Lagos can sometimes be a problem. Some property owners get water treatment equipment to treat the water in their building, thereby giving residents clean water. So you also need to pick an apartment with clean water, because no guest wants to come into your Airbnb and have dirty water flowing from the tap. Some people have skin allergies, and there are other problems that clients may have. Even if they don't have any issues, the water in your Airbnb should be clean. No one should come to your apartment and start having issues with water. So these are the things you need to consider when finding the right apartment. We're also going to make a video about things to look out for and red flags when you're house hunting in Lagos. So also keep an eye out for that video. Now, number 4, give yourself a deadline. When you find your apartment and you've paid the rent, or you've done everything you need to do, you've paid for the apartment, you've sorted out the agency fees, the legal fees, and all of that is done, and you have your keys, I would suggest giving yourself a deadline to finish your project. I rented my apartment in April. I asked my landlord to please give me the end of May to set up, and then my rent can start counting from June. Luckily, or fortunately, he agreed. So I had 1 month free time where I wasn't paying rent, and I had that time to set up. So I gave myself a 1 month deadline to set up the property and list it on the market. So within that month, everything was done. I shopped for the electronics, I handled the furniture, and mind you, we made all of our furniture from scratch. We made our sofa, we made our coffee table, we made our beds, we made everything from scratch, and we had to do this in 1 month, because you don't want a situation where you're taking too long to set up and then it's just eating into your rent and you're not making profit. Instead, you're losing time. So I gave myself 1 month to set up, and I made sure to stick to this time. So by the 1st of June, our apartment was ready to be listed. Number 5 would be, you need to make a decision on how you want to decorate your apartment. This means the theme of your apartment, what colors are you going to use, the style of your apartment. If you know, setting up an Airbnb can be really, really draining, and you need to have an idea on how to do interior design properly. If you don't, I will suggest you get an interior designer to help you out with this. You can get a designer to sort of, give you a 3D layout of what your apartment should look like, what colors should go where, what items should go where. If you know that you're not going to be able to do this on your own, I would definitely suggest getting an interior designer, because when people see your listing photos and how your apartment looks, that's what encourages them to book. So if your apartment isn't properly designed and the interior just looks maybe shabby or cheap, or it just looks like you didn't put any effort in, you might not get a lot of bookings. And when people see your listing photos, they are not going to be motivated to book. Instead, they're going to book something else, because I mean, in Lagos, we have thousands of apartments, so the competition is really, really crazy. You need to make sure your apartment is top notch to get lots of bookings. Okay, so that's number 5. Number 6, when you've decided on your design and you've decided on your theme, you need to hire the right team of artisans. So we said in number 4 that you need to give yourself a setup deadline. If you don't have the right artisans working on your team, you're going to exceed that deadline. For example, in Nigeria, the furniture maker making the sofa might tell you, oh, it's going to take me 4 weeks to make this sofa, but he ends up taking 8 weeks. What are you going to do? That means your apartment is just going to be there for 8 weeks waiting for the sofa to come in. So make sure you get reliable people. Don't let anybody waste your time. If you find someone and that person is taking a lot of time on what they are supposed to do, I would suggest you switch. While I was setting up my apartment, the furniture maker I started working with wasn't the person I finished with, because along the line he was delaying so much, he wasn't doing the job the way I wanted it, so I just had to fire him and get a new person. It cost me some money, because I mean, I already paid the first person some money, but I knew what I wanted and I wasn't getting it from him, and he was wasting my time, so I had to fire him and get a new person. So this new guy was on point. I mean, he delivered the work when he said he was going to deliver, no delays, and he was just all round reliable. So if you don't have the reliable team of people working with you, you're going to have a big problem. You need to make sure you pick the right people to avoid lots of delays. Okay. Number 7 is go shopping. So I went shopping for electronics. We bought our TVs, our fridge, our washing machine, our toaster, blender, electric kettle, iron. Then you need to buy, you know, the stuff to set up your home. You need foot mats, you need bathroom mats, you need towels, you need bed sheets, you need robes, you need rugs, you need the coffee table, you know, you need the balcony furniture. Depending on what kind of apartment you have, then you need to buy items to set up the home. Your flowers, you know, all of those things you need. So that's number 7. Number 7 is go shopping and buy all of the items you need for your apartment. Number 8 would be to install your smart lock. I mean, not everybody uses smart lock, but for my Airbnb, I decided to install a smart lock because, one, I want guests to be able to check in themselves. Some guests check in very late at night. It might not be possible to have someone there at all times. So if, for example, the guest is checking in late or they just want to check in themselves, then we have the smart lock for that. With the smart lock, we can also keep an eye out on the number of people checking into the apartment. You know, you can see, you get the notifications on your phone. So for example, our apartment, the maximum occupancy is 4 people. You shouldn't be more than 4 in the apartment. So if we have, let's say, 8 people coming into the apartment, we can see from the smart lock. I would suggest you get the smart lock. You install your Wi-Fi, you know, you set up your Netflix, you set up your Amazon Prime. In Nigeria, we have satellite, which is called DSTV. So we also put that in our apartment because we want clients to have options. So you have the option of watching DSTV or Netflix or Amazon Prime. We also have a PS5 console in our apartment. So that's the game, the PlayStation 5. We also have that because we want clients to be entertained. So that gives clients lots of options for entertainment. We also have indoor games that we kept for them as well. So I mean, that works. So number 8 would be to install your smart lock. If you're getting that, install your Wi-Fi, Netflix, DSTV, and Amazon Prime. Number 9 would be to take your listing photos and videos. So some Airbnb owners, when they set up apartments, they just take photos with their phones or whatever they feel like using, and then they list it. So if you don't have the right photos, you're definitely not getting lots of bookings. That's one, because the photos, when the picture is the first thing the client sees. So if I see this picture and it doesn't really look good, or I can't really see the features your apartment have to offer properly, then I mean, that means I'm not going to book. So your listing videos need to come correct. Hire a photographer, hire a videographer. In my case, I hired 2 photographers because the first one did a very terrible job. I had to get another photographer to get the right listing photos for my apartment. So with these listing photos, I'm able to list on Airbnb, on booking.com. I'm able to put it out on social media, and then it looks really good. So number 9, get your listing photos and videos. And number 10, which is the last but not the least, decide what platforms you're going to be listing your Airbnb on. So if you're going to be listing on Airbnb, if you're going to be listing on booking.com, if you're going to be listing with Nigerian agents like us, Booking Naija, you decide what platforms and who your agents are and how you're going to advertise and market your property, and then you list it. So that's the end, guys. 10 things to do when setting up your apartment. I'm going to go through it again. Number 1, have a budget. 2, pick the right location. 3, find the right apartment. 4, give yourself a setup deadline. 5, decide on the style and theme of your apartment. 6, hire the right team of artisans. 7, go shopping. 8, install your smart lock, Wi-Fi, Netflix, DSTV, and all of that. 9, take your listing photos and videos. And 10, decide where you're going to list and advertise your property and list. So that's it. If you're setting up a short-term rental anywhere in the world, I think you can use this. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.